In Soul Hackers 2, the best way to rank up fast is by farming the risky enemies, which are the higher level enemies, the powerful foes that you'll encounter in the dungeons, the purple guys. These enemies may seem intimidating to you at first, but once you know their affinities, they will be about as easy as any other fight. The thing to understand about these enemies is that they change every 10 levels that you go up, and there's always a level disparity of about 15 levels between you and the group that you're fighting. So for example, at level 70, I'm fighting level 85 risky enemies. At level 80, 95, and a little bit higher, I'm fighting level 98 risky enemies. In this pattern, you'll see even at low levels, they'll always be about 15 levels advanced. And I'm going to show you where to go and a little bit of a strategy for how I'm fighting some of these groups of enemies. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown about why they are so good to farm. So the first thing that I do is I get a food item called the Varja Sara Udon. And this is the item that gives you a much higher increased chance of finding risky enemies in dungeons. I think this comes in the middle of the game. If you can't find this right away, then you could put off farming and just do the main story. You should be fine just doing the main story and side quests. This is more for when you get to the end of the game. But if you are struggling and you want to get a little bit of extra money and XP, then you could try this method just whenever you encounter a risky enemy. The best place that I know of and the best place that I found was in the subway line 14, which you do get around the start of the game, the middle of the game. And I go to the first teleporter on the lower line of subway line 14. And I just run around on the rails is where it's called. And as you can see, I find risky enemies right away, almost. And there are a couple of instances where I find multiple risky enemies at the same time, and normally it's not uncommon for me right after I'm in battle with one to find another one as soon as I exit the battle. Now this won't happen to you every time. If it's not working for you, I would say teleport away and come back and it'll usually reset itself. You could, in theory, do this almost anywhere in the dungeons, but I think this is, for some reason, maybe a lower enemy spawn rate, and hence you get a few more risky enemies in this location. What makes this so good is that risky enemies not only give you double the XP that you earn. So for example, this risky enemy group gives me 5,000 base XP, but it's actually more than double. So I'm getting about 10,000 XP for each character, and the demon is getting a little bit of XP as well. Normally when you defeat an enemy, you get the XP that's shown on screen, but that XP is split between you and your demon, so you might get 3,000 XP, but only about 2,000 goes to the character. So either way you look at it, you get a lot of XP and a lot more money. Like you can get up to 500k, which is incredible for endgame when you're trying to get the last couple of upgrades for your comp, and if you need to summon some high-level demons to help complete the compendium, this is definitely what you want to do. And here I'm showing some strategies for how to take out some of these harder groups of enemies. I am playing on easy mode at this point, just because it would be way too tedious to do this. It would be way too tedious to do this on anything higher than easy. I could do it on normal mode and even hard mode, but it would take much longer. It'll still take you a few hours doing this if you don't get bored doing it to rank up, but it is worth it. Just a couple of risky enemies can get you up a few levels at a time and you'll make a lot of money. So this is really the best method that there's known for farming. You can do the side missions, you can do the main story, and you won't really progress beyond the threshold of what they want you to be at each stage, I find. So definitely risky enemies are the way to go. Like I said, just keep in mind that they change every 10 levels that you go up. You'll be encountering a new pair of enemies that are typically a little bit harder, so each one requires a different strategy, but once you get OP, it's really easy to just farm them back and forth and get everything you need.
Enemy detected. You've been discovered. No more readings present. You've been discovered.
Eyes up!